Hello, everyone. You're listening to the I Go with Ego podcast, bringing you guests with first-hand experience in studying abroad and seasoned personalities excelling in the workforce. We want you to own your journey and be the best you can be. Now presenting your host, Igo Kelly Ekakite.
Hi everyone, welcome to the I Go with Ego podcast, the number one podcast in study abroad where inspiration meets action. Today I have a very special guest, Director Blerina Polovina, Director of International Admissions and Business Development at Webster University. Director Polovina, welcome to the I Go with Ego podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, Iko, and it's so good to see you, man.
Absolutely, it's good to see you too. I was thinking on who can I invite first among the schools I know. Like I have to go to my own school that I've been and the people I know. So I'm happy you accepted to do this. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Absolutely. So our topic is navigating success, international students' journey at Webster University. But before we start, I want you to introduce yourself so my audience can get to know you and get to know something exciting about you.
All right. Yeah, I will be more than happy to. And I will just say my journey started just like you. Many years ago, back in 1998, right out of high school, I came to the United States as an international student. I was born and raised in Albania. And I was an international student at Webster University, just like you. So, my journey started many years ago, just like the students we talk to all the time. The desire and the dream to come to US was with me since I was little. And it came, I will tell you my story why, because people wonder all the time why I picked US. I was learning English. And as I was learning English, I came across a book. And I didn't know much English. I was still on my learning phases.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a sentence that hit me that says, America is the place of second chances. And I was like, whoa, what a cool place that could be.
Yeah.
They will give you two chances. And yet, just like you and me and a lot of other students, all we look is for that one chance.
Sure.
I mean, we only look for that one chance, and then we give it all to make it worth it, because we know the love and sacrifices we and our families have put through to make our dream come true. So that's where the love for America came for me as a little kid, wanting to come to the place of second chances. And it worked out wonderful, because many years later, here I am. My journey started as a student, but then life happened, family happened, I got married, had kids. So I ended up staying in the United States. And then when an opportunity came to work at Webster in the international team, I was like, hey, I'll give it a shot. And here I am many years later. Fun fact about me, I'm a mom of 5 kids. I don't know if you know it.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
I have 5 kids, and they're my pride and joy. And as they're growing up, it makes me miss them more. But I know that they're there doing what they're supposed to do, live life and give it their all. And I'm here to support them. And at the same time, working with students who want to come and make their dreams come true. So.
Absolutely, that's exciting. That's awesome. There's something you said that's made so much sense to me. The land of second chances, and I tell people, like you yourself, my own story is a story of new beginning. I saw America as an opportunity for a new beginning for myself. I missed all I had to go through in Nigeria, so it's exciting that we share the same dream and the same ideas when it comes to studying in America. One thing that we worry about as international students is how do we come to America, and how do we settle in? Coming from a different place, a different land, a different culture altogether. So what are some unique challenges that international students face when they come to America?
Well, I would say first and foremost, the culture shock.
Yeah.
It is different coming here, and it's scary. I mean, we have to recognize how scary it is to live everyone and everything to take a chance and come to strangers and come to a strange place and come to a strange country. I mean, it takes courage, it takes guts, and it's nothing but amazing when I see when students do that. So I always come with that understanding that I know you're afraid, and I'm here to tell you it's okay to be afraid. Let's take a deep breath and just open up yourself to the opportunities that will come along. But I think culture shock, it's a big thing. In the beginning, a lot of students face it's feeling lonely. You know, you come in a country and you don't know anybody. It hits you, and it hits you hard sometimes. That loneliness, and it's like, oh my God, no, I don't know anybody. The fear to even speak up, thinking your English is not good enough to even communicate. And that was for me too. I was so scared to even open my mouth at the time because I thought people would make fun of me with my accent, my English. One part for me that really hit me hard, when you miss family and when you miss everything, food is something that you can kind of relate to, and sometimes it feels like home. And here I didn't know where to go to find the food that felt like home until I did, and until I made it. So for me, even a small thing like bread, I went in to buy bread, and bread here was completely different than the bread I had as a child. And I remember I was after the third week in US, and I called my mom crying that I'm like, I'm gonna starve to death over here, Mom. There's no bread. There's no bread. And little things like that in the beginning are challenging. Now, put in there the education. Education systems are completely different where one comes from in the United States. The classroom experience is different. In a lot of countries, you're mostly sitting down and just listening to your professor, right? You don't question the professor, you don't open conversations with your professor, and yet in United States it's completely different. Your professors seek you to come to them, to talk to them, to open the conversations. So I think that was a big challenge as well, that I think a lot of students have a very hard time adjusting in the beginning, to have that be like, am I okay to speak up? Will I be reprimanded if I speak up and question the professor? And I've noticed that has been a big challenge a lot of students face in the beginning, until they're given over and over that assurance, it is okay, you're not going to get in trouble if you do, and to open that conversation. You had no experience in United States. It's not like just read an exam. You have to have conversations. You have to do presentations. You have to write and research. And again, that is a different way of education in US that I think some students have a hard time in the beginning to get adjusted to it. But once they do, they're just successful and they thrive at it.
It's true, because even when I came the first time, my professor said I should call her by her first name. I'm like, no, I can't call you by your first name, because cultural wise, it's like I'm insulting my elders. So it is hard, but with time, one adjusts. Even to now, I still find it difficult to call her by her name. I have to add Dean Cummins or Dean,
I was working at Webster, and I was working at Webster for years, and every time I would email a professor, I could never even still call them by their name. I would always say, hey, professor.
Right, yeah.
Because to me, that respect, installation of respect for someone at a level of being a teacher and a professor, is so deep in me that I can't shake it off. So there were some things that I was okay with saying, you know what, this is who I am. I cannot call you your first name.
Sure.
I'd rather call you sir and your name. And I never, as a student, went in to call him on the first name, just because it felt very uncomfortable to me.
Sure.
And it felt like I was disrespecting them, even though it wasn't. So you kind of sometimes meet in the middle.
I agree. So what are some of the things that Webster University, have done or has in place to support international students' transition, both academically and socially?
Well, I think, you have an experience as well of some of the fun events that always happen here in Webster. And I think, and for me, I came to Webster as a student. I loved my experience here so much. And that was 20 years ago. And I came back to work because I always felt we are a university, are not very big, right? We are but big enough to still thrive and to have that experience of a university in the United States, but small enough to make those connections. And I always said it felt like home away from home. And so those are because I think it's instilled at Webster here to always support and to always kind of take on everyone who's who's new or is different from where we are, and to kind of connect with us on a different level. So I feel that is the community here at Webster. It's there with everyone you talk to, from if you come to the international team, if you go to the housing office, if you go and talk to your professor. But for us, being aware that students are coming, and excitingly, we're getting a lot more students. I mean, I know when you were here as a student, we didn't have as many, but we have crossed over 3,000 right now, international students.
I saw that. I was like, that's exciting. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yes. And so you're like, how do we meet that expectation? So it's been a lot of hard work between our faculty, our student affairs, our academic affairs, but as well as with our partners who are recruiting. So we are working on adjusting and helping students prepare even before they come to US. We're going on the countries where we're seeing most students at least twice a year. We're going and having some pre-arrival events to kind of give them an expectation what it is you will face once you come, so they are prepared before we even come. We have set up some online programs, so they automatically get access to all those online courses to prepare them for arrival. So a lot of it is like, how do we make it happen before they even come, at least to have an idea. Then once they become a student, we have created a free class for everyone to kind of have an understanding of academic expectations in the United States, how to adjust to the education in US. And then, of course, we work very closely with our student affairs, as they will have continuing events where students can get involved, from chats, from English chats, from having popcorns, from having parties, dances, and little things that make students kind of connect. Because once students connect, that's really the key, where they feel like, okay, I belong here, I see myself here, I feel safe here, and I can be me. And I think that is the beauty of it, when you can see a student become themselves and understand the potential they have and work so hard to reach it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. But we'll go on a short break now. When we'll come up from a short break, Director Polovina will still be here. We have more questions for her. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The I Go With Ego Pathway to Knowledge initiative is unlocking the potential of Africa's future leaders, one child at a time. This groundbreaking program is igniting hope and transforming lives by opening the doors to quality education for children who need it most. I Go With Ego, an educational consulting company, is on a mission to empower young minds and build brighter futures. Through their innovative initiative, they are connecting underprivileged children with the resources they need to thrive, turning dreams into reality, one child at a time. The Pathway to Knowledge initiative isn't just about providing educational materials or scholarships. It's about empowering dreams and unlocking potential. Every notebook, every pencil, and every opportunity they provide is a stepping stone on the path to greatness. Imagine a young mind filled with curiosity, eager to learn, and brimming with potential. Now imagine that same mind soaring to new heights, breaking barriers, and achieving greatness because someone believed in them. This is the vision that fuels the I Go With Ego Pathway to Knowledge initiative. But they can't do it alone. They need the support of individuals and organizations who share their passion for education and their unwavering belief in the potential of every child. Together, we can create a future where every child has access to quality education, where dreams are nurtured and potential is realized. Join us on this extraordinary journey as we walk the path to transformation with the I Go With Ego Pathway to Knowledge initiative. Let's make a difference, one dream at a time.
Hi everyone, welcome back from the short break. We still have our director here, Director Polovina here. Thank you so much again for joining me. One thing I know that international students struggle with, it's scholarships, grants or financial aid, because most times, yes, we want to come abroad to study in the US, and we have some finances, or we have family finances, but when we come here, some things could happen. So how does Webster University, or how has Webster University helped students in the past in terms of scholarship and grants?
So with Webster, currently we do offer academic scholarships to both our bachelor students and our graduate students. With our bachelor students, it's more on the higher the GPA that they have when they come to Webster, the higher the potential for them to get a scholarship. So scholarships on our bachelor level vary from $12,000 to $20,000 a year. So the better they performed academically, the better they will be able to get a chance to have a higher scholarship. On the graduate students end, we have knowing and being aware of the challenges financially everyone is facing, especially after COVID. We decided for everyone who's been admitted to give them a discount of 15% of their tuition up to the point they graduate. So as long as they get their admission, they get admitted to Webster, they will get that 15%. To also help with challenges of finance that has been happening lately around the world, for all our undergraduate students who are living on campus, for the first 2 years, we are discounting their housing 30%. So that's a grant that they all automatically will get if they're admitted. And we're discounting their meal cost from $2,700 a semester to only $700 a semester. So that combination, we do believe, helps the students to kind of make their dream come true, thrive into the new environment that they're coming to, and hopefully help with some of the financial challenges. Of course, once they come students here, there will always be, and you took advantage of it. There's work study opportunities that students can apply for. If they're a graduate student, there will be graduate assistantships that they can apply for. And if they get those opportunities, there will be just extra money into their account or discount. And there's always new scholarships that become available once they become a student. So I always tell students, once you come to campus, any university they go to, it is very hard for them to think out of classroom. And a lot of students just focus on doing wonderful in classroom. Fantastic. But I tell them, I want you to give that much importance to anything out of classroom. Get involved in groups on campus. If you find a job on campus, develop some of the skills that a lot of future employees will look for, and potentially future scholarships will look for. And so it's a two-way thing where students have to work and be proactive. But I think the more proactive they are, the more involved students get. Opportunities will come where they can be like, oh, cool, I can take advantage of this scholarship. I can take advantage of this scholarship. And then with networking, and you're an expert on igowithIGHO because you did it so wonderfully.
Thank you.
As you meet new people, you find new opportunities.
True.
Even out of Webster, that you're like, oh, there's a scholarship about Webster, but I would qualify. Maybe it's $500, but $500 here, $500 there will add up.
True.
So we do give, as I said, academically some scholarships. We are giving these grants to offset the cost of living on campus for our undergraduate students. We do have jobs on campus for them to take advantage of. But I always recommend everybody get involved, meet people, put yourself out there, get uncomfortable to being uncomfortable, because that's where the growth happens, and that's where the beauty happens.
Well said. So what advice would you give prospective international students that are searching for schools now, wondering, oh, should I choose Webster? What advice would you give them to choose Webster?
Well, first I would give them an advice. We are in a time right now where students want the answers fast, and you need to put some effort. I tell students, put some effort and research where you're going, because what we're seeing sometimes is some tough decisions. Some students get so many fast decisions. They come in and yet they have no idea what they're going and where they're coming to. So please do some work into learning about the university you're going to, the city you're going to. Be proactive before you even arrive on things that you need to know. I know it's hard to say because a lot of the attention span of some of the students is not there, but please read the emails because they're there to prepare you for your arrival. But once they come in, again, open up and just I tell students, take a chance on people. When I came in United States, as I said, my first semester, I was terrified to even open my mouth because I thought people would make fun of me. And that was just in my head. Because the truth of the matter is people were wonderful. People were understanding. People were willing to help. All I needed to do is be okay to just open myself up. So open themselves up I mean, just open up to people that may look different than they are. Have an open mind. Try to listen to them to understand. Because that's where the beauty happens. That's one of the best friendships I've created. People who have helped me. There were people that are not from my country, not from my background, and yet they've been some of my biggest cheerleaders, my biggest supporters, and my life has become so much better just because I opened myself to the new way of thinking, the new way of looking at things. So just do your homework, be prepared, research the school, research the program before you arrive to at least have an idea what the expectations are. But once you come in, just open yourself up and and it'll be cool.
You've heard the director. Make sure you open up, and because you are the best advocate for your own self, you're the best advocate for yourself. So make sure you come here, you open up, you meet people, have conversations, and that's how you can grow here in America.
Absolutely. I think that's the key here in the United States. Look, there's a lot. I mean, if you look at the media, sometimes media, it's not fair. I think they only post what the bad looks like.
True.
I think people are better. I think good is more than bad anywhere. My experience has been wonderful. And again, have an understanding that sometimes people have some opinions because that's all they know. And if you start those conversations and be willing to say, okay, I understand you have your reasons why you would feel this way, but let's communicate. Let's have some conversations where I can expand your mind and you can expand mine. And that's where difference happens, Igho. That's where really happens. When you open yourself up and say, okay, I'll listen to you, you listen to me. Let me kind of give you a hint in there that, hey, I look at it this way. Because what I found out from my experiences, at the end of the day, we all as people love the same, want the same thing.
True.
We care about our families. We care about our loved ones. We want everyone to be safe and happy within our community. So if we all want the same thing, then at the end of the day, there is a way for us to connect as humans. And hopefully that's where the change can happen.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, before I let you go, are there some things or places you would recommend for international students to visit or experience in St. Louis or around the Webster Group area?
Well, so I love food. So to me, there's some cool food areas. So I'd say the Balkan Treat right across the campus here.
Yeah.
If anyone comes to campus here, they have to try Balkan Treat because it is really delicious.
It is. I agree.
But in St. Louis, there's a lot of fun stuff that happen in St. Louis. And the beauty of it is a lot of it is free to take advantage of. I mean, if you want to explore the zoo, one of the best zoos in the United States, it is free of charge for students to go to. We have so many wonderful galleries where students can go and explore, and they're all free. Awesome concerts happen here all the time. The cost is a lot cheaper than in New York and California. So students can still take advantage of it. There's some cool areas, the hills, the Grove, where there's livelihood that happens. There's a lot of food and concerts that happen all the time. And here's what I say to students all the time. If you think of St. Louis, and within a 20-minute drive, there's some of the biggest universities, right? We have Webster University, Washington University, St. Louis University, so Maryville. So I always say, I think we are a college town. We just don't call ourselves a college town.
Very true.
But there's so many students, so there's so much stuff happening out there. And I think I don't even know half of what's going on because students know a lot more than I do. So I just tell them, go out there because there's a lot of stuff happening. And it's a lot, many more students than just what's in Webster University that they'll be able to connect and make friends with.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Director Polovina, for your wealth of experience and for joining me today. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Okay. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Igho.
Absolutely. Before we go, to all prospective international students out there, studying at Webster University will give you a unique opportunity to gain a world-class education. I, for one, am a living example of that. So by actively seeking resources that the university provides, building relationships with people from all over the world, and embracing new experience, you will excel academically and personally. So remember that the journey may have its challenges, but with determination, an open mind, and a strong support system, success is well within reach. Thank you all for joining us again. I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.